First, making his way to the celebrity chef stage, he is the master of Cowboy cuisine. He got his start in this business when, like most everybody, the cook quit in the middle of the dinner hour, and he was forced to prepare dinner for 100 hungry customers with no notice or prep time, a baptism by fire. He's operated restaurants from Vegas to Beverly Hills, from Alpine to Sugarland, and he currently operates Grady's on Forest Park Boulevard in Fort Worth. His well-received books include A Cowboy in the Kitchen, Cowboy Cocktails, and The Great Steak Book. You may remember him from The Today Show, the CBS Early Show, Good Morning America, the Food Network, and from RFD TV's The Cowboy Kitchen. Would you please welcome the pride of Fort Worth, Stone Cold Grady Spears.
We're ready.
And his opponent, she comes into Battle Chicken Fried Steak with a record of 1-0. Formerly the private chef to Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs, invited to the White House to develop and launch the Chef's Move to Schools initiative. Host and star of the web-based series Let's Eat Houston. You remember her from season 10 of the next Food Network star and her upcoming cookbook, Lone Star Kitchen, as well as the creator and developer of Mommy Salt's 100% Dead Sea bath salts. Would you please welcome the pride of Denton, Her Royal Highness, Chef Sarah Penrod.
Hi, guys. Are you having a good time? Are you having a good time at ZestFest? How about some goodies? I'm sorry, I thought we were having a good time today. You see how Grady's watching himself? It's because I beamed him yesterday. Oh, my girl!
There we go. Good throw. All right.
I have 2 left. I might as well. Let's see how far I can go.
Good throw.
Yeah, Grand Prairie High School cheerleader.
Good
What up? Okay, so you know I beat him yesterday, right?
I was out of my comfort zone. I was baking bread, for Christ's sakes, you know? That wasn't fair.
It was a crazy cornbread throwdown. But yours was freaking amazing. What did you do?
I did a spicy, savory cornbread. Unfortunately, it was a losing cornbread, but it had chorizo and green chilies in it, and but she busted me cheating. I actually snuck in a little Jiffy cornbread mix, and so I think that's why I lost yesterday. I know, but none of that today, all right? None of those shenanigans today. I got fresh stuff today. So.
It was really good. I mean, like, I can't really believe I lost to it, but I went sweet, and I did a banana nut cornbread with a toffee sauce and cinnamon ice cream and little buñuelos, and it blew them out of the water. It was so exciting.
I didn't stand a chance, actually. I mean, that was.
Yeah. So,
who would challenge a girl to a bake-off, you know?
All of those recipes will be on all of the websites you can imagine. ZestFest.net, sarahpenrod.com, and I'll probably even put it on his website. Because I don't think that you mess with your website that often, but I'll do it for you.
I'm not much of a social media guy.
Okay, so today we're doing Battle Chicken Fried Steak, which is deadly to me because it's Grady's, like, he's known for that, right?
Well, no, but I mean, I'm in my comfort zone. You know, how can you go wrong frying a piece of beef, you know? I mean, you know, so, I mean, I'm pretty much, but I'm going to go very traditional these days. So she might have me, you know, I don't know. I'm going to go really traditional. I'm going to use seasoned flour. I'm going to use beer and buttermilk and eggs to make the seasoning stick, and I'm going to fry it in peanut oil and make a really good basic cream gravy with some really coarse ground cracked pepper. So I'm going old school, all right? What are you going to do?
I'm going to do, I mean, this is what I do. All of my kinfolk are from Sweetwater, Texas, so I was taught to do a West Texas chicken fried steak. It's a little bit different than what he does, but it's the way I got him here. So we met in Austin at Horseshoe Bay, and I had no idea that Grady had come to see my show, and he liked it so much that he sent me this enormous chicken fried steak over later at the the food walk, the wine and food walk, and then we hung out all day. So I think he liked it, and if I have his blessing, I think it's good enough for you to try too.
Oh, I love it. Actually, I'm in trouble today too, you know. But you know, chicken fried steak's one of those things that, you know, I mean, I've been doing chicken fried steak forever, and it's, if you go to the eastern half of the United States, they're called country fried steaks. You know, in Texas we call them chicken fried steaks. The difference is, the further east you go, they put them on a flat top, and they actually cook them on a flat top. Here we submerge them in grease. So I'm actually going to cook these today in peanut oil, and hopefully you guys will like them. We'll see, okay? But I'm going to get, while she started, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to fry some ribeyes today. And normally I would never tell you to buy a lean steak. I would always say, look, pick the steak out, it's got the most marbling, most fat. But when you're chicken frying a piece of meat, we don't want a whole lot of fat, because the fat's just going to melt away. So what I've done is I've got, and you can use a strip steak, you can use a ribeye, you can use, you know, whatever kind of primal cut you want. I'm going to take and cut it in half. And then what I'm going to do is with the back of a knife, I'm just going to kind of smush that steak down. And the thing about using a primal meat, you know, like a tenderloin or a ribeye or a strip, is you know it's tender. It's not like using a shoulder steak or something where you got to pound it out and you know it's going to singe back up. I thought you were trying to sabotage me. Got to keep an eye on her, actually.
No, Alison Brown is not here. There will not be any sabotages
What
today.
I'm going to do is, and you can take and get these steaks ready a day ahead of time. You just want to make sure you cover them, because when you get them thin and the air starts hitting them, they're oxidized, they'll start to turn. So I'm going to take and just pound these out on both sides. And then I'm going to take the back of a knife, and I'm just going to tenderize the steak with the back of a knife like this. And I'm going to do it both ways.
And I think one good tip that both of us would agree that is like unspoken in the professional kitchen is we don't use those little cube steaks that you can get at the grocery store. The last time I asked the guy, there was like this new guy that was in the station doing the butcher, I was like, what did those start out as? And he goes, and he pointed to the brisket. And I'm like, I have never in my life heard of anyone making chicken fried steak out of brisket. So please don't do that. You can do an eye of round, cut thin and pound it out.
Yeah, the problem with using a cheap cut of meat is what happens when you bread it comes back together. It doesn't stay spread out. So, you know, using a good quality tender cut of meat, I think is, and most people don't use, they use kind of bi-cuts to make chicken fried steak. So, okay,
yeah.
So I've got these pounded out, and I don't have to have them too thin. I want them thin enough where the crust is going to cook and the meat's still going to be somewhat tender on the inside. So I'm going to pound these out. Keep going, I'll cut this in half. And these weigh about a pound a piece, and so I'm going to cut them into thirds. So these probably are 6 to 8 ounces a piece.
His is scary. You should see him upstairs in the professional kitchen. So I've learned the difference between me and Grady. So I show up 3 hours before you guys get here. In my outfit, I have my staff, and we all sit down and we drink our coffee and we decide what we're gonna do. And then we lovingly try each ingredient and we put it together. And it takes all this time. It tastes great. He gets here an hour before stage call. And it's like Yosemite Sam comes into the kitchen and it's like, and I'm like, let me help you. And he's cutting cabbage and all this stuff. And I'm like,
done, didn't I?
trying the dressing, and Grady just walks over and grabs the malt vinegar and throws it down. It's just like it's happening in slow motion. And he's done in like 40 minutes. So I do think that's one thing that you have on me that is, it's kind of fun to behold. We should have sent people upstairs, because this is exactly what he looks like up there. Aren't you gonna use your torture tool?
Actually, I will now. Use so I'll another thing too, I was gonna tell you, so I'm trimming the fat off these too, the outside fat. But look, she brought me a little mallet, so this is actually better to use. I'm still gonna take the back of a knife though, and just kind of pound that meat out.
Okay, so one tip that I do, because we're different. He's Cowboy and I'm Cowgirl, and we've noticed that. Like, we are really different. Mine has been in buttermilk overnight. We pounded it out, we put it in buttermilk, and then, like, in honor of ZestFest, I grabbed one of these crazy sauces that they had upstairs and added a little bit to my buttermilk, and you guys can use that with any of the sauces that you get today, just to sort of add a little bit of acidity to your mixture. Good God,
Don't mind me,
Grady, Lord. And a little bit of flavor, maybe a little bit of spice. And then I made my breading mixture out of flour and some seasonings that we had. Just grab a little. And I know everyone's like, well, give us your recipe. Y'all, we don't use recipes unless we're writing a recipe book. It's just some onion powder. It's some garlic powder. It's a little salt and pepper. It's all, when we walk around and buy John's seasoning salt and stuff like that, that's what we use, you know? So you don't have to feel like, please don't feel like you're in recipe prison. Just mix some tasty stuff in there.
And even books are, you know, I've never read a book in my life. I've written 9 books, and I'm not stupid, but I keep telling people, you know,
I've read all your books.
Recipes aren't like they're not the Bible. You know, I mean, you don't have to follow them verbatim. I mean, everything's different. Every tomato is different. Every season's different. Every jalapeno is different. Every cut of meat's different. So you got to adjust things to where you are and what season you're in, and you know, it's just food, you know? I mean, and so really, recipes are nothing but ideas.
Because I think a lot of people don't like to cook because they don't like to measure. We don't like to measure either. Unless you're baking, you need to measure if you're baking. But just know that. You ones that love recipes so much, you can use them as a guideline. So like I said, this is flour and all my seasonings that I just sort of threw in that the chef had upstairs, but I add cornstarch to mine, and that's because I think it gives you a little bit more of a crisper texture when you're buying the pre-made mixes of chicken fried steak or fried chicken mix. That's the kind of stuff that they're adding. They're putting the seasonings in for you, and maybe cornstarch, and like what else do they use sometimes in those?
What's that?
And like the pre-made mixes that are way overpriced.
I don't ever use them, so I don't know.
Okay, but definitely cornstarch.
I don't know. I mean,
definitely cornstarch because it makes it really crispy. So I've got a hot pan over here.
Yeah, cornstarch is too, I mean.
Super hot, rockin' hot. I know at his restaurant they deep fry their chicken fried steaks, and that makes them really crispy. I know that. I know.
What's that?
That you
Cornstarch?
deep fry the chicken fried steaks. A lot of restaurants do that. And it's
Of course we deep fry.
excellent. But when you're at home, you're usually using a cast iron skillet. So just fill it up a good amount with oil. Because, I mean, who likes to deep fry at home? It's a mess. It makes the air all weird and smell funny in the kitchen and stuff.
Well, and the temperature of your oil is important too. You know, with chicken fried steaks, you want the oil, when you put it in, you want to cook it about 360 degrees. When you put it in, though, you want the oil to be 375, 380 degrees. Because what happens, when you put the cold product into the hot oil, it brings the temperature down. And so, and there's nothing worse than a greasy chicken fried steak, or worse than one that's burnt on the outside and still not done on the inside. So 375 degrees, when you drop the meat in, it'll drop that grease down to 350 and will cook evenly.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do real quick, I'm gonna take, she does her, so I do mine differently. I take, I'm gonna make a seasoned flour. So I'm gonna take some kosher salt and some really, really coarse ground black pepper. I mean, I use really, really coarse, almost butcher grind black pepper. Oh,
it looks good. It looks great.
Come on.
That looks great. Keep on.
Wait till it goes in the grill. Talking about
He's got
sabotage.
10 years on me, okay?
Wait till it hits that grease.
No, I have to tell this story because it's why I love him so much. I was 21 years old, and I had a friend whose parents had a lake house on Possum Kingdom Lake, and we used to go during the wintertime, and there's nothing to do. And his mom was a fabulous cook, and the first time I ever heard of Grady Spears, we were all reading her cookbooks, and she had this fabulous, like, you know, the table in front of the couch, what's it called? Coffee table. Coffee table books, and Grady's book was one of them. And there was this one recipe for pan de campo. That's how you say that, right? Yeah. It's the bread of the camp, which they make on the cattle drives. And you made it like a pizza.
The camp bread, yeah.
Yeah. And I never forgot it.
You know, the dirtiest little secret is you can take and make, you can take canned pizza dough and roll it out. You know, take a canned pizza or canned biscuits and roll them out on a floured surface really, really thin, and then make the greatest crackers.
Right, because that's kind of what it is anyway.
Crackers, so.
It's just like you using cornbread mix yesterday and me slaving for 3 days to cook everybody homemade cornbread.
See who won? I mean, I got beat. Okay, so she's frying her chicken fried steak. I've got the seasoned flour, so I've got kosher salt or sea salt, the really coarse ground black pepper, and then now I'm gonna take and add some buttermilk to some eggs. And I don't ever measure. I can just kind of tell, you know, by the thickness of it. You know, whisk that together, and then I'm gonna add a beer to that. And the beer, you can whisk this ahead of time. You know, you can make the eggs and the buttermilk ahead of time, but you can't add the beer. You know, it's the carbonation of the beer that'll help kind of lighten the chicken fried steak up. So I'm gonna add a beer. Okay.
That's where yours is really different than mine.
So now, you got yours going? Oh,
Yeah, I've already taken mine was already floured because you know that I got here at 6 a.m. and started cooking for you guys, you know what I'm saying? So I use a little bit of my extra seasoned flour to make my roux for my gravy, and you can do that too.
Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna waste it if not.
That's actually a great idea, is using this flour to make the roux, you know, to make the roux for the gravy.
Right, it's equal parts butter and flour. And then I'll let you finish, then I'll tell them my big secret.
Well, you know, I was gonna tell you, gravy, everybody's got their own way of making gravy. You know, I mean, I've done it the same way forever. I take and heat up the milk first, and then I add roux to the milk. But there's all kinds of different ways. How do you do yours? Looks like you're gonna add milk to your roux.
Well, you know my secret. This is how we chit-chatted all weekend in Austin. So my kinfolks are from Sweetwater, Texas. One of my secrets is to use my great-grandmother's cast iron skillet. I don't think there's anything better for a chicken fried steak than a cast iron skillet. And it's also a really kind of cheap piece of cooking material. You don't have to get these $500 pans. I have a whole set of cast iron that I use. So that was my first secret, and my second that I learned from those, you know, old timers back in our little town of Sweetwater. If you guys have ever been to the Rouse Steak Roundup, you know what I'm talking about. Is evaporated milk, which sounds delusional because I've been to French culinary school, but I've tried it every other way. And when you use evaporated milk, this is what I'm gonna use. Don't use the reduced fat, just use the full fat. Any kind of brand will work. I think there's a couple brands in here. You try it. It is the most richest, creamiest, homey texture. You can't make that with the flavor. When you taste it, you guys will see. It reminds me of something. It's like a warm hug from your grandma. It's just completely different than a plain milk gravy. So that's the main difference, I think, in our chicken fried steaks, besides the beer.
The beer.
Yeah, his gravy is loud and proud, and mine is this warm, rich. It's like a little grandma with a little bun, and she's serving you cookies. You're gonna love it.
They're two different styles. That is more kind of a country fried. And then, like I said, mine is more of a chicken fried. It's more submerged. So I'll show you. And this is not a clean job. I mean, whatever you do, if you fry a chicken fried steak, you're gonna get dirty. You might as well just throw a tarp down, you know.
So that's why I don't have to heat up my milk because it comes from a can anyway, so it's not cold. But if you, for some, you wouldn't be making mine with cold milk. You do want to add, when you have any sort of roux, which is equal parts butter or oil, I like to use the meat drippings from the pan, and the flour, you always want to use lukewarm or they're warming his milk for him, because if not, it can separate and it's a disaster and you'll cry and your gumbo will look terrible or your gravy. Just want to use warm ingredients added to warm ingredients and you'll be safe.
Okay, so what I've done while she was talking, I've started frying the chicken fried steak. So, and what I do is I've got the tenderized meat that I've got sitting here, and I'll let it come to room temperature. It'll cook better, okay? And so I'm gonna put it into seasoned flour, and this is really important. Actually, you gotta get your hands dirty doing this. But I'm gonna put them in the seasoned flour, and I'm actually gonna take my fingers. I'm gonna work the flour into the grooves of the meat, and that'll help the meat. That'll help it stick. So, see how this sticks? Look how fluffy that is. Pretty good, huh? I wasn't comfortable baking bread, but I'm pretty comfortable frying fried steak. So, but anyway, you want to make sure
bread recipes.
You want to make sure you're taking you've got it in the seasoned flour. I'm going to go into the egg wash. I'm going to turn it, make sure I get it completely coated, and then back into the flour. And I've already kind of knuckled that flour in, so I'm just going to kind of cover it with flour this time, so the meat doesn't fall apart. And I'm gently going to take it out, and then I'm going to drop it in the fryer. I'm just going to slide it in and hold it till it starts to float, and then let it sit. So, and these will take maybe 3 minutes on each side, or not 3 minutes on each side, about 3 or 4 minutes total to cook. So, if you're using a bigger pan, obviously it's going to take longer. You got more mass. So, all right.
I like a little bit of fresh thyme in my gravy because you're using all of those, shelf-stable like Lowry seasoning salt or Cracker Barrel, whatever Grandma's giving you for gifts for Christmas. You're using that, and you don't have any really fresh elements.
I think this oven went off.
Fresh thyme is delicious in a gravy because it has this little herbal, kind of just little waft. It's just like a rich creaminess and then a little element of freshness on top of that crispy chicken fried steak. And it just wakes up all those flavors. And I know you also saw me put just a little squirt of lemon. Just a little. That's not to make it taste like lemon. It's just to bring out more flavors. Just like salt does. A little bit of acidity added to anything like a roast, or you can add like a little bit of red wine vinegar to a roast and it'll just wake up all those flavors, just like adding salt. So I do that to I do that to everything, actually. Just a bit.
Is your gravy about done?
No, it's gonna start cooking here in a minute. And then I'm also gonna make a salad for you guys. I'm gonna make you my Texas caviar, which I know you've all had. I think Grady's, you're so Texas, you're such a cowboy. I see myself as sort of like the new modern Texan because I'm a Dallas girl and I'm also a mom. So I've been to culinary school and I know how to do all that, but I'm a busy lady. And so I kind of like to add kind of a new fun twist. So with my Texas caviar, it's gonna be the same recipe that you're used to, but I'm gonna make you a smoked jalapeno vinaigrette. You're gonna love it. And I marinate it in there instead of using like a canned salsa or Italian dressing, something to marinate it.
Girl can cook, can't she? I'm telling you, pretty handy, huh?
Hey, I beat you, didn't I? That was the shock of a lifetime.
No, I was expecting it.
He was so excited. I ran up to him and tackled him in the back. He was not happy. He was good. But Grady, I don't think Grady's used to losing, especially to a girl. Okay, so this needs to come to a boil. The magic of a roux happens when you turn up the heat. So I'm mixing it all, I was getting it warm, and now I'm raising the heat. And when it starts to hit simmer, like 185, it's gonna start to thicken, and that's because we've already added that flour, and that's the point where it starts to gelatinize. It just gets big and puffy, and so the sauce gets thicker. That's all that's happening. So you just wanna watch it because as it gets thicker, the bottom can burn.
I have made the biggest mess you guys have ever seen up here, actually. Okay, you guys have any questions about chicken fry? I've got to let this oil kind of get back to temperature when we get back to frying. You guys have any questions?
Linda?
I'm making, she's gonna make, I couldn't get the stovetop on, but she's gonna make a gravy over there. And like I said, I'm gonna make a traditional gravy with just, I'm gonna warm up the milk, and add roux and some really coarse ground black pepper and salt to it. So really simple. And
let's try my chicken fried steak. Another tip that I like to do, right after I take a bite.
But so you can see the difference between a country fried and then the chicken fried. This one's, you can see the difference. This one's a little flatter and it's got more of a floury finish than this, so.
I think that's a scary looking chicken fried steak and mine's a sassy, sweet one. Where was I going? Oh, salt it right after it comes out of the pan. Not with kosher salt. That's why chefs will have two different kinds of salt. We use the big, thick kosher salt because you can pick it up in your hands and it doesn't get under your fingernails and sting. And then like a fine salt, you can use Morton table salt if that's what you have, but you can get even finer salts than that just for after you fry, and it'll be on the surface rather than deep down inside. And I think that's a big secret to fried foods is salt right after it comes out, and it will melt into the texture.
Yeah, and the salt will melt, and like you said, using big sea salts and or the bigger the granular salt, you can see it, when it goes on the product. So, and plus that sea salt and kosher salt, they just taste better than iodized salt. I hate iodized salt.
Okay. Texas caviar is fresh tomatoes. I like red and yellow. Now I just swallowed, sorry. Black-eyed peas. You can use the canned peas. Today I found that we got some that had bacon, and so when we're gonna add a semi-sweet sauce to the black-eyed peas that have bacon, the bacon flavor really comes out. I would recommend using one without bacon if you have it. You don't have to. You can also use frozen. Just make sure you cook them. They're not ready to go like corn is. You do still have to cook them. And then we've got some corn here. In the summer, I would use fresh corn, but we didn't have any fresh corn in the walk-in today, so I'm using frozen corn, and that's fine. It's just we get such good fresh corn in Texas. Might as well use it, right? And then I've got a roasted red bell pepper. We were kind of talking about this yesterday, Grady. You can do it so many different ways. You can put it under the broiler. And what was that tip that you said yesterday? I hadn't ever heard of that.
Oh, when you're cleaning the chilies, if you take after you've taken, you roasted them, and if you'll just dip them in water, the seeds will all come out. You know, I hate seeds and stems, so.
But what did you say about the puffy? You said poke it so it doesn't get puffy?
Oh yeah, if you poke it, no, it'll make the skin come up off the deal.
Right.
The skin comes up off the if you poke it, make a hole in it, it seems to let the skin come off the body better.
Okay, so if you're gonna broil it, you want to pierce it a little bit, and that way when you go to wash it under the water, the skin will just fall off, and you won't have any work to do.
Another good tip. I'm going to show you this. You know, you can tell how hot a jalapeno is by the point. The pointier the end, the hotter the jalapeno. I swear it works. So the blunter the end, the milder the chili. So anyway, try it. I promise you it works.
Did you learn that when you were growing your own peppers down in South Texas?
I learned that, but it really works. Guys, we might not be able to fry any chicken fried steaks. I don't have any heat. So we're in trouble.
Do you want to use mine? Come over here.
I might need to, yeah.
Come over here. I'm ready.
Let's see.
We can serve mine first and then yours. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people may leave waiting, but
Okay, coming through.
it's okay. I've got lumpy gravy. Look at that. It looks like grits. I'm like slowly adding my milk. I'll fix it. I know how to fix it. So West Texas gravy stories, we went out there. My great-grandmother died, and it's a shame that that's the only time we get to Sweetwater. I need to get there more often because they have the greatest Mexican food ever, or Tex-Mex. I'm sorry, Tex-Mex. And we were out there, you know, and you meet all these wonderful people who seem to know you, and they're so... The thing I like about little Texas towns is they're so into family. And my grandfather was there, and he took me into this room of people. They were all sitting around the room, like the olden days or something, talking to each other in this parlor. And they had so many questions for me, you know, because I was doing interesting things. And I met so many cousins and great aunts, and I don't even know. But what they told me is in West Texas, you have a lot of extra buttermilk. That's how it's always been. That's where buttermilk pie came from. That's where buttermilk dressing came from. It came from an excess of buttermilk. So you had to find a way to use it. And they would either use their buttermilk for their desserts, and then the milk didn't always keep cold, so they got into a habit of using canned milk, and they would put it in their gravies, because, you know, they were saving probably the fresh milk for the drinking and the babies and the breakfast and that kinds of things. And their gravy is killer. I can't wait for you to try it. My Papa Wiggs, right there, he's one of the greatest cooks I know. He has taught me so many things. He was the one who taught me to use, you know, sirloin or eye of rounds when I'm using my chicken fried steak. But I taught him the gravy trick, and he loves it. So I know you guys will too. Okay, I'm gonna get back over here to this salad. Oh, I have a blender. It just appeared like magic. Roasted red bell peppers went in, a little piece of onion.
Some good looking gravy.
I know, it's coming out. Are you being facetious?
No,
or is
I'm
that
telling you,
real?
I think it's
Is
gonna
that
go great with that chicken fried
smack
steak.
Because I know where the silly
We're
string
back
is.
to frying now. All right.
I like a good sweet Texas onion, but if you don't have that, I don't know why I'm chopping with this little crazy little, I feel like this is a toy. But you can use a red onion too, green onion. I grow chives in my backyard because I love them so much. So you could also use some chive here. Little onion. And I'm not going to use jalapeno because it's going to go in the dressing, right? There we go. I've got some cilantro here.
Some water. Water.
And you know, I like kind of big chunks of cilantro. I don't like little. I like it to almost be like lettuce. Just little pieces, but not micro, because I like a grassy, almost salad-like texture. And if you don't like cilantro, you can weed it out, because there's a lot of people that don't. A little salt and pepper. Always salt and pepper the salad too. And now we're gonna make the dressing. It's my secret dressing, y'all, but I'm gonna make it for you guys, okay? So I've got rice wine vinegar. I'm only gonna use about half of this. All these recipes will be online. This is a little bit of cayenne pepper. Don't get scared, it's just enough because I'm gonna put some honey in and it's gonna kind of balance that.
Okay,
How's
great.
my gravy? Are you watching my gravy? Or are
I'm
you
trying
gonna
to
let
watch
it
chicken
die?
fried steaks right now. We're getting there.
Grady's all for himself.
Wash your hands. I gotta say.
Okay. A little bit of liquid smoke. This is because I want that smoked flavor, but I'm not gonna turn on the smoker for one jalapeno, right? And it has a really nice flavor. There's one thing that I learned this year. They have new liquid smokes, which is really exciting because they used to only have mesquite. Some people hate mesquite. I like it. I think you have to know how to use it. But now they have like applewood, and especially here in Texas, they have all different kinds. So you
Look at that
should
chicken
be
fried steak.
experimenting with
Oh.
that. I know. That's good. I know what your chicken fried steak's like. I followed you since I was 20.
Look at that. That is like luscious.
All right, so one jalapeno. Pardonnez-moi. Can I come over here? You're just so clean.
Please. I know
It's
everything's so
scary.
neat.
I don't know where the meat's been. Okay. I cut the little rear end off here. And I like to take a spoon if we have one. I do have one. It's kind of big. It's better to use a little teaspoon. And I just scrape out the guts. Little teaspoons are perfect for this. You don't have to mess around with cutting each one out, performing surgery on 1,000 tiny jalapenos. There we go. And then we just want to watch that. Or we want to sabotage Grady with the jalapeno seeds, whatever. Whatever works. One jalapeno. Watch your gravy, watch your gravy. I'm just gonna take it off the heat a little. Since I got a lot of things to do, since I'm making salad also.
Hey, I made salad. I just made it ahead of time.
I know. It's really good too, but it took him like 5 minutes. Such crap. Okay, and then I've got my oil, but what you do when you make a dressing like this is you start everything, all the goodies, and then you drizzle in your oil slowly. That's what makes it come together and stay together. Starting all this. Turn that down. And then drizzle in your oil slowly, especially in the beginning.
You guys got any questions? I'm just gonna keep frying, that way everybody can get some, so.
Are you doing good?
I'm doing pretty- now we're on
good?
track.
Bless your heart. You're doing good, right?
I think we're on track now.
If anybody's got any questions for Grady or Sarah, just let me know. Raise your hand. We'll bring you the mic. Yes, ma'am.
What's a tip for keeping your fried stuff from sticking to your cast iron skillet?
Sarah?
Oh,
Let's ask the king of chicken fried steak.
as long as there's no hot grease there.
Right. You want to always keep your cast iron skillets greasy. And one of the ways that you do that is instead of putting it in the, oh, God forbid, in the,
Dishwasher?
Dishwasher.
that's right, the machine that does the dishes for you. That thing, you always want to get it clean by taking a little bit of paper towel and some salt and scraping, and you can clean it off like that. If you need a little bit of water, you can do that, but just don't put it back in there. You always want to put it back on the oven and turn it on low.
might be sharing
And
hers,
even the
actually.
water that you can't see will evaporate out of it. And then you want to put a little oil back in. So you're always keeping that thing slick as the baby's bottom. And then you'll just want to use a high smoke point oil, which is not going to be your vegetable oils or your, extra virgin anything. It's always going to be canola, peanut, safflower, sunflower, something that has a high smoke point. Sometimes it'll say on the back, like at least 350, about 325, 350. And that will help, as well as my dad just is mystified by fried chicken because he always gets it and it's when he tries to make it, the breading falls off. What you can do is, he didn't do this, but I did because I got here early. I put mine in the buttermilk, and then I put it in the flour mixture, and then I let it sit for, well, until now. They're frying it upstairs for you right now. And that will make it turns into glue. I don't know what the science is, but the flour and the milk are shaking hands, and they're getting to know each other, and they're becoming like a batter, and it will hold onto the meat. And then when you put it in the hot pan, it should stick if you got your pan hot enough. One of the best tools that I ever bought when I was a young chef was an infrared thermometer. And they used to be really expensive, but now they're like dirt cheap. You can get them at like soap websites. People who make soap use them. Chefs use them, but they try to charge us an arm and a leg. People that work with cement, they're real cheap, like 10 or 15 bucks. And it's this laser, and you point it at something, and it will tell you what the surface of the pan, how hot it is, or the oil. And so it's better than jacking with the thing and testing it and all that. So those are some tips to keep the breading on. I have a blog on my website called The Secret to Texas Chicken Fried Steak, and it has all that information. So.
All right, so I'm almost done. I hate to tell you this, but I'm gonna have to share her gravy. I'm sorry.
You know that's the best part of mine.
I can't. I mean, I can't perform miracles here. I can't get. To,
I can perform miracles anywhere. Okay, so this is that smoked jalapeno vinaigrette, and I think if you use too much, it becomes kind of like Texas ceviche or something. So don't use too much. You want it to dress the vegetables, but you don't want it to marinate, because then you have pico de gallo. So it is supposed to be kind of a fresh thing. And I'm just gonna take 2 spoons and toss it up and make it look pretty for church. I missed going to church today. I was so sad. I know some of you guys who follow me on Twitter are like, God, Sarah, all you do all day is talk about church. I missed it today. Makes me feel so good. First thing in the week. Okay, everyone here is like, we didn't go to church either. We came to ZestFest. Okay, just a little bit of salt and pepper, and mine's good. Do you want to taste it, Grady, and tell me
I'm a
if you
little
liked
busy
it?
right now trying to get these chicken fried steaks done.
Oh, I'll come to you. Don't worry about
I'm
that.
almost done.
Yep. I think upstairs, at the last minute, I used a little bit of lemon or lime, so like a last squeeze. Especially if you use the black-eyed pea with the bacon, because it absorbs all of the, excuse me, honey. Excuse me. It absorbs all the honey, and it brings out the flavor of that bacon, and it becomes bacon salad. So you just want to watch that. But a little bit of lemon or lime at the last minute will really help clear that up. Here you go, honey. Am I done with my gravy? I just gotta check it. Here, this is the salad that you loved so much in Austin, right? It's
That is very good. Okay. I'm gonna fry the last pieces, and I think we're ready to go.
That's ready. That's ready. Let's double check the gravy that all of a sudden the great Grady Spears is gonna use.
I got some milk. You want to thin it down?
I hope that it doesn't have that raw flour taste. Let's make sure.
Again, if anybody's got any questions, raise your hand. We'll bring the mic over to you. Are you just
We're
hungry?
almost done. We're ready to eat. So
Let me have a little bit of milk to thin it with, and a lot of salt. You see how messy he is? He took up my side and his.
look at this. I did make kind of a mess. No questions, you guys? Y'all just want to eat. All right.
Now keep in mind, all you ZestFesters, pay attention. We will be taking a poll by applause to see who wins Battle Chicken Fried Steak. Will it be Sarah Penrod or Grady Spears? You're going to be the ultimate arbiters of this. We'll take an applause poll after everybody's had a chance to sample it.
Hot.
It's not fair if you top it with my gravy, Grady. Hey, if I win Battle Chicken Fried Steak, will you put my chicken fried steak on the menu at your new restaurant?
I will.
You
I
heard
call
it.
the Cowgirl.
You heard that.
It'll be my Cowgirl chicken fried steak.
Spoon. We're almost there, guys.
Actually, she's gonna win either way. I gotta use her gravy, so I'm gonna have to hand it to her, you know? Oh.
It needs a little milk. It's a little thick,
Look. I have
but
milk
it's
right
sweeter.
here.
It's so much sweeter, and it's like you couldn't just add sugar. And careful, oh my God.
Little cold milk and just whisk it
Dude,
in.
you couldn't just add sugar and get this flavor. This flavor comes from when they process the milk. When they seal the can, it heats up and it caramelizes some of the milk. That's my tres leches cake. So
Oh.
good. Kind of the same concept here.
Actually, I think my chicken fried steak's gonna taste pretty good with her gravy.
It's really peppery, and that's really nice with the sweet gravy.
Yeah, I love that. Dude, like I use really, really coarse ground black pepper, and you can taste it. I mean, the black pepper is pretty predominant. So
Okay, it's pretty good. You might want to give it a taste, since we're gonna use it too.
okay.
I'm kind of excited, I gotta be honest. Donk.
Pretty darn good.
Little salt, little salt, little salt. Little salt in here. We need some wine
Man,
in
you guys
here.
are in for a treat.
Do you want to tell us about your project, or no? Is it a secret?
Well, no, it's not. I have a new project opening. I'm the chef of the Houston Texans. This is my 6th year with the Texans and the rodeo. I've got a project. I've got 2 more books coming out this year, and then I've got a restaurant project that's going to be opening in the Stockyards in a couple of months. I'm going to do chicken fried steaks. I'm going to do kind of a cafe, really small cafe, and kind of focus on chicken fried steaks but very simple.
Mine's gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Cowgirl chicken fried steak and a cow. But my friend Matt Martinez from Matt's El Rancho, you know, he always did his with chili con carne on top and cheese. So I'm gonna offer him a couple of different ways, and should be fun.
That sounds delicious.
Glutton for punishment. Man,
I
that
have
is
a
really
great
good.
one for you, actually, because I almost didn't do like a classic chicken fried steak. I have one in my cookbook, which I probably shouldn't talk about, but I'll tell you about it. So I call it Sexy Mexy Chicken Fried Steak. You finish the gravy. I'm gonna go
sounds
talk to
pretty good.
people. So it's like a chicken fried chicken. I really like chicken
think we're ready.
enchiladas with sour cream sauce, and so I'm gonna say this for you, but I just wanted to go classic.
that?
But
Let me get that.
it's a chicken fried chicken, real crispy like a chicken fried steak, and then instead of the gravy, it has that green chili sour cream sauce that goes on chicken enchiladas. It's divine, you guys. So I guess I'll put that out there for you. But you could use that at your restaurant.
I'd be great. I'm open for any ideas. You know?
Heck yeah.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go back there.
Do
We're
you
gonna take
wanna-
the rest of the chicken fried steaks, and
Okay.
are y'all ready to eat?
You be fair. You plate mine up good, just like yours.
I did.
I want micro herbs and all that crap.
if you eat, you have to come up and clean. All right?
Okay.
No.
And we can also use this too. I'll come over here and I'll help. Let me see. I'm usually the one in the front, and then he plates everything in the back. If you guys want to start lining up, because I can tell you one thing I learned from Grady. He gives huge samples. It's like a personal chicken fried steak. So I did the same thing. So it's not like there's 180 samples. So get up here quick. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. He has his slaw. Don't forget your slaw, Cowboy. Let me show you both. I know that they're going to prepare these for you guys. I'll put these here too. Look at all that beer. Did you use it all? No. He's a good friend. Front and center. You are smart. She's like, I'm going to be right here first. Hurry up, chef. His is delicious. I will be honest. Like he's running late. I mean, he's Grady Spears. He's got like a million things going up. So he pulls up in his yacht that runs on caviar, and he gets out of his truck and he comes upstairs. And I was like, let me help you. Let me do this. He can make food so fast. It takes no time at all. I mean, it would take all of us half a day, but he is so fast. Dun, 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 dun. No, I think it'll probably be one on each. Is there both on each plate, or is there mine and his?
Yours over there.
Well, they can't do the throwdown unless they get one of each.
Sarah, let me jump in if I could.
Come over here and help us.
ZestFesters, if you have your motorcycle outside parked on the sidewalk, the nice folks at the Irving Convention Center and the Irving PD have asked you to come move those motorcycles off of the sidewalk. We don't want you towed or ticketed or both. So if you've got a motorcycle out there on the sidewalk, please step outside and move it. Toot sweet.
That
Thanks a lot.
reminds me of last night. You guys catch Grease 2 on Fox Family with that motorcycle guy. That was the most hilarious. How much did we laugh last night at Grease 2? We should watch that next year. Is this Sarah?